So over to you, Bhanu. Welcome. So Bhanu Jain is from the extreme northeast of India. He is a very dedicated mutual fund distributors. He and his family, means his father, they will be completing 50 years of serving people very soon. That's again a very big achievement. So I think we all really need to give a big applause for that. And he is the second generation. And I'm sure after him, his coming generations will also be happy to be a part of this business, doing this business in the northeast region, majorly from Tinsukia, but various other parts of the similar of these states also. So that place is also very difficult to work, but with this also he's able to he's almost near to 100 crore AUM also, and that is something very significant. He is a certified financial planner, as you all can see. So let's learn from you and learn from this book, The Magic of Thinking Big. I think this should be the first book which anyone read. Even I will also say, since I was a little aware that we should be reading books, and also this was the first book I also read. So thank you so much, Bhanu, for volunteering and coming up and reading this book and sharing the ideas of this book. So over to you. Look forward to learn from you.
Thank you, Kanakji, for your kind words, and warm greetings to all the members present. I thank the Financial Freedom Fraternity for allowing me to present my thoughts and my learnings from the book, The Magic of Thinking Big. This book is one of the must read for each and every financial advisor, because it will really help us grow 5 times, 10 times, 20 times. And you can just imagine this could be a life-changing decision for people like us. What is this? This is our mind. Our mind is full of thoughts, thinking. Thinking is a mental activity which we all do throughout our day and night. We take approximately 6,000 to 7,000 decisions through our thoughts. Thinking is an activity that helps us to solve problems. It helps us to take a decision. It helps us to find out reasons for things. So thinking is a complex phenomenon which various emotions and various things, broadly divided into positive and negative thinking. We all aim to grow big. So what is the key to success? What is the key to success is the magic of thinking big. Thinking big first is the key, is the first step to proceed to our path of success and glory. We all wish to win. We all wish to prosper. We all wish to excel. This success comes with the first step of thinking big on our aims. If we have a very strong belief that we'll be able to succeed, and that belief has got no ifs, no buts, no mays, no don'ts, it is only I can, I will. If we have that kind of a belief for our thoughts, we'll surely be able to achieve all our goals. Our mind is a factory of thoughts. Well, there are two engineers. One engineer is Mr. Triumph. The other engineer is Mr. Defeat. When we feed our thought, when we feed our mind with any of the thought, like when I get up in the morning and I think today my day is going to be good. So Mr. Triumph, the engineer, activates his team to say me and to send signals to our mind that today the day will be good. And these are the reasons. Today I'll be doing a good presentation. Today I'll be meeting clients. Today I'll be getting good business. These kinds of signals get auto-created. It's in an autopilot mode. That is how our mind functions. Our amygdala and neocortex of our mind helps us creating those kind of thoughts. Vice versa is also true. आज अगर मैंने सोच लिया the day will be bad, my body language will go down, my mind will start, Mr. Defeat will activate his army of trolls to tell my mind the things will be bad. That is the power of belief. That is the power of strong conviction. A famous line goes, जाकी रही भावना जैसी प्रभु मूरत देखी तिन वैसी. These are some of the finest lines that I can correlate when I was reading this book. That is the power of belief. When we go in front of an idol of Prabhu, our own inner thoughts, our own belief, our own thinking decides what we see. If we see that this idol is beautiful, this idol is the path to the Almighty, our thought process is very negative, and we start visualizing our God in form of idol. Alternately, if we start on a critical note that is murti mein aisa hota, the idol would have been better, idol would have been this and that, so negative thinking gets activated and we start finding issues and problem with our thoughts. So the key to success, the first key to success, the first key to thinking big is the strong belief on what we do, what we think. There should be no ifs, buts, may. It should be only I can and I will. When we start conditioning our minds with that kind of a thought, we'll surely start feeling a change in the times. In a very short while, we'll start seeing the change in ourselves for better. We'll become better versions of ourselves. That's the power of belief. We all know that we as human beings are the experts and masters in giving excuses. Excuse देने में कोई दुनिया में हमारा मुकाबला नहीं कर सकता है. Just name a thing that you ask me to do, we will all be ready with excuses. These excuses are the biggest hurdle towards our path to success. Excuses can broadly be defined into 4 categories. One common excuse that we get to hear often is health. यार मेरे को बीपी हो रखा है, मेरे प्रेशर की प्रॉब्लम है, मैं नहीं कर सकता, I'll not be able to do. I often get to hear these things. Even I have been seeing this in my family as well. So what is the remedy that was suggested? The remedy that was suggested is, let us stop talking about our poor health. Let us tell our minds, ये एक प्रॉब्लम बहुत छोटी सी है, and let us enjoy our lives. And there are people who are in a much worse condition than us. So we should stop worrying and talking about our poor health. जब हम वैसा करना बंद कर देंगे, हमारा दिमाग अपने आप ही उस एक्सक्यूज से दूर भागने लगेगा. Second, which I believe was a problem in me as well. 25 years back, when I was a student of class 8-9, I was a mediocre student. I often used to give excuse to my father and my granddad that दादाजी मुझसे नहीं हो पाएगा, मैं इतना इंटेलिजेंट नहीं हूं, मैं फर्स्ट रैंकर कभी नहीं हो सकता, मेरे पास दिमाग नहीं है, मैं तो बस पास हो जाता, उतना ही बहुत है. That was an excuse which I was giving. That was an intelligent excuse. I was thinking that people were superior to me, while the fact was we don't even use 2 to 5% of our brains, our minds throughout our lifetime. Our mind is a factory of multi terabytes of data. It has that kind of a tremendous capability. Once my dad said me कि ये दिमाग विमाग का क्या स्टोरी सुनाते हो तुम मेहनत ही नहीं कर रहे हो और हर चीज इंटेलिजेंस पे डाल देते हो, और ये इंटेलिजेंस जैसी कुछ चीज होती नहीं है, you have to start working. And those words were the charging points and the tipping point in my life, that I could overcome that intelligence excusitis which I was giving to myself, and the results were tremendous. In a period of 6 months, from being in the bottom 10, I was in the top 3 in my class. Even the entire class was shocked कि यार ये अचानक ऐसे कैसे हो गया. But it was all because I had stopped taking the excuse. I have stopped taking the shields of intelligence excusitis. There is one more excuse that we often tend to see and hear कि मैं बहुत बड़ा हो गया हूं, अब ये मोबाइल और टेक्नोलॉजी हम नहीं सीख सकते, we cannot learn new things, so my growth is over, I am stable. These are common things that we get to hear in our day-to-day lives. But is this real? This is more of a psychological issue. There is nothing like an age excusitis. The best example is the owner of KFC, who started at the age of 62. 62, people consider too old an age to start something, but he is an example who has been successful starting at the age of 62. बहुत लोग ये भी बोलते हैं मैं बहुत छोटा हूं, अभी मैं नहीं कर सकता बड़ी चीजें. But again, we have an example of a successful person, Mark Zuckerberg, the owner of Facebook, now Meta. At such a young age, he has achieved so much of a glory and creating such a valuable company. So age also is an excuse, and we should try to eliminate that problem. To eliminate that excuse, the author suggests and give a remedy that let us talk positive about our age. Let us break down about how much is left. Let's say I am 40. अगले 20 साल, which is equal to more than 45%, 50% of my working life. If I had started working at the age of 22, it's more than 55% of my productive life. If I start visualizing my number in those terms, I'll feel much better, and age as an excuse in our minds will start going away. One more thing, the last one, but not the least one. We often talk about luck. Is there anything like luck? Is all success because of luck? अगर हम अपने दिल पे हाथ रख के बात करें तो क्या हमें सही लगेगा? We all know that luck is just an excuse. If we try to analyze any successful person, अगर हम उसके थोड़े से बैकग्राउंड में पीछे जाएं, we'll find it was his hard work, determination, smart planning and execution that resulted in the success. It was not just luck. We assign most of the thing of a success to luck or failures to unlucky, but that is not true. If we start accepting this fact that every cause has an effect, if there is an effect, if there is a failure, there has to be a reason. I was reading an article on traffic accident. One of the traffic engineers said that approximately 40,000 to 50,000 people get killed in the road accidents, and people and families of those deceased blame it on luck. But on analyzing the accidents, we find either it is a human error or a mechanical failure which has resulted in luck. So we need to accept that there is nothing like luck, but it is the cause and the effect. It is the hard work and the planning which will help us overcome that. And once we start realizing that, we'll get better. When we start thinking big, there will be a lot of fear that will come to our minds. We'll be fearful of lots of things. We'll lack confidence. So the author in his third chapter suggests a few ideas and techniques to overcome fear and build confidence. Fear is a real thing that is there in the mind. Fear वो है जो हम नहीं कर रहे हैं और फिर भी हमें डर लगता है. It is lack of confidence, but it is a real problem. So how do we get to the bottom of the fear and destroy it? I had a water fright. मुझे पानी से बहुत डर लगता था. मैंने मेरे बच्चों को स्विमिंग करते हुए देखा, तो I thought I should address my fear. I accepted that the fear is real, but I need to overcome it. So I pinned down to my fear. I accepted I have got water fear, but I need to learn swimming and overcome that fear. So we need to take action to defeat our fear. Once we start acting and practicing to overcome our fear, that fear which we have, we can surely overcome it. One more remedy that has been suggested by the author in the book is we should deposit positive thoughts in our mind. Once we deposit positive thought, जैसे with my example with respect to it, if I think I don't know swimming, मैं पानी में डूब जाऊंगा, मैं मर जाऊंगा, मैं सांस नहीं ले पाऊंगा, मैं उलट जाऊंगा, lungs में पानी चला जाएगा, बहुत लोग मर जाते हैं. If I would have deposited that kind of thought only in my mind, I would never have been able to enter waters. I would never have been able to explore the uncharted territory which were creating terror in my mind. Because I had deposited positive thoughts. I had deposited positive thoughts like I need to learn. धीरे धीरे सीखेंगे, एक एक स्टेप करके सीखेंगे. my mind also allowed withdrawal of those positive thoughts. So if I had deposited positive thoughts, the withdrawal are positive, क्योंकि जो हम जमा करेंगे वही निकलेगा. So that is how we can overcome our fears. 5 very simple tips suggested to build confidence to overcome fears and our problems. I have practiced this in my life and I have seen the changes. I remember I took proactive initiative to start first because the confidence was there to take the front seat. Once we start acting and taking the front seat, we start getting confident. Okay, I have got capabilities. That is the reason I am at the front. क्योंकि जो पहले खड़ा होता है attention भी सबसे पहले उसी को मिलता है. We have noted most of the times when we go to seminars, meetings, it is usually the back benches or the middle benches that it feels first. But the successful ones or the ones who are going to be successful, and we can identify those people, the ones who automatically without asking take the front seats. We should take and practice eye contacts. जब हम लोगों की आंखों में देख के बात करते हैं बिना he feels confident, उसको लगता है हम कुछ छुपा नहीं रहे, हमारे बॉडी लैंग्वेज में किसी तरह का चोर नहीं है, हमारे मन में कोई तरह की पाप और गलत भावना नहीं है, and they reciprocate positively and that builds confidence. किसी जगह when we go and when we walk faster than usual, when we start walking at least 20-25% faster, we can just say, because our body starts accepting, because we are faster, we are better, we get confident. I have practiced this in my own life. Before reading this book, I did not support this logic, but having seen this and realized this in my own life, I strongly believe these ideas are unique. Practice speaking up everywhere. किसी से भी जाके मिलना है. We should try and talk to people. We should try to take opportunity to speak everywhere, wherever we go. We know we will make mistakes. Even I know I'll be making lots of mistakes giving this presentation, that too at the first point. But because I thought I should take this opportunity, that gave confidence to my mind. That too 2 minutes when I was unprepared, 11:30 की जगह 11 बजे पहले पहले बोलना है. वो 2 मिनट खुद से बातें करने से I started and it's starting. This speaking up in all occasions will give us good opportunity to build confidence. Whenever we keep a big smile on our face, we know मुस्कान में कितना जादू होता है. There is nothing which we need to add. We have seen people say, okay, बड़ा सोचो, let's think big to be successful. But how do we think big? बोलना बहुत आसान है, बड़ा सोचो, बड़ा सोचो, बड़ा सोचो. But how do we really think big? The author has suggested some tips. He says, in order to think big, let's try to inculcate few habits in our life. Let us try to add positive words, big words, some happy words, some good jargons in our lives, like good, better, best, positive. इस तरह के words when we start using in our day-to-day vocabulary, will surely add to thinking big. हम लोग cheerful words, bright words use करेंगे ना, तो पक्का पक्का खुशी का माहौल, बड़ा होने का माहौल हमारे दिमाग में बनने लगेगा. And to think big, we should try, जो भी हम सोचते हैं उससे कम से कम 20% ज्यादा सोचने की कोशिश करें. जैसे I have heard people saying, जितने पांव हैं उतने ही पसार, जितनी चद्दर है उतने ही पांव पसारने चाहिए. But one of my mentors says me, जितनी मेरी चद्दर है उससे पांव थोड़ा सा ज्यादा बाहर निकालो, अपना विजन धीरे धीरे बड़ा करते जाओ. And I believe the mind works like a circle. The circumference of the circle works in a compounding phenomenon because pi r square. थोड़ा सा हम अपना निकालते हैं वो बहुत ज्यादा रेडियस बढ़ता है. That vision slowly and steadily magnifies into a very big vision. This could be practiced in our day-to-day life. To think big, we should add value to others. हम अपने subordinate, अपने colleagues, अपने साथ वालों पे अगर हम उनको कुछ better बनाने के, उनके जीवन में कुछ value add करेंगे, we will start realizing that importance and will automatically start thinking big. Because when we are helping others, When we are adding value to others' life, our mind automatically tells us that we are doing good, we are doing better, we are thinking big. And this positivity helps us in thinking big. बड़ा सोचने के लिए छोटी छोटी बातें इग्नोर करनी पड़ती है. If we start looking at trivial things, we'll miss the bigger picture. So the author suggests to ignore trivial things. एक हस्बैंड और वाइफ के बीच में इफ वी वांट छोटी छोटी चीजों को लेके जिंदगी भर वी कैन quarrel, but if we start ignoring those trivial things, the life becomes beautiful. That is how thinking big can be developed and held. This is a lesson which is very beautiful because it talks about creativity. Thinking different, thinking big is the okay, but कुछ नया करने के लिए, कुछ बड़ा करने के लिए हम लोग इतने सालों से बहुत कुछ कर रहे हैं, उससे आगे बढ़ने के लिए हम लोग को अपने जीवन में बदलाव करने पड़ेंगे. To bring about that change, we need to think differently and think creatively. Think creative का एक example है impossible. The very word impossible says I am possible. That is creativity. Creativity tells us to think differently. कुछ बेटर करने की कोशिश करना, कुछ नया खोजना, सेम चीज में ही कुछ नया खोजना. To be creative, we should be receptive to new ideas. I remember an example in the book wherein lots of engineers who have built a car which had a height which was bigger than the gates which allowed it to pass. There was no way the engineers were able to find a solution to get the car out from the factory or the garage or the warehouse. But all of a sudden, the gatekeeper, who was not an engineer, he suggested, why not deflate the tires and take the car out? Because it was just a huge, small margin. Because the engineers were receptive to the ideas, because those management were willing to hear and take up the new ideas, those new ideas were received and it had done wonders to the problem. When we are receptive to new ideas, we get better solutions to fight against our problems. To be creative, we should try to release and upgrade versions of ourselves. If Bhanu is sitting at version 1.0, we should try to release a new version with newer and added skill set. We have seen in softwares, जो भी version नया release होता है, उसमें कुछ additional feature ही आते हैं, पुरानी चीजें जाती नहीं. So when we release new version, when we try to upgrade ourselves, we become better and we become creative. To be creative, to be successful, we should practice listening more and speaking less. I'll take up example of Kanak ji. When I spoke to him first, he listened to me much and very patiently. That is the reason he was able to recall everything and use it at the time needed. I know he was not prepared to speak about me, but क्योंकि उन्होंने बहुत ध्यान से मुझे सुना था. These are the traits of successful people, and we should try to listen more and speak less. This is a trait of all successful person, as can be observed. One idea that I liked was meeting and mixing with heterogeneous people. Aj, if I meet same peoples and work with same type of people and stay with them every time, I'll not be getting any new ideas because my creativity is limited. And instead, if I practice mixing up with heterogeneous people without any business interest as well, I'll be receptive to new ideas. I'll be thinking and understanding their cycles, their way of thinking, their thoughts, their way of actions and things. It will add more ideas to our minds. Because we are willing to accept those new ideas which are not from our own sectors. Because problem different sectors या different चीजों में अलग-अलग होती है. A doctor has a different issue. An engineer has a different issue. A mutual fund distributor like us have a different issue. An insurance agent has a different issue. But when we mix with all those peoples in different groups, we get newer ideas to solve those things, and that things can be extended to our own work as well. You are what you think you are. हम जैसा खुद के बारे में सोचते हैं हम वैसे ही होते हैं. अगर मैंने खराब कपड़े पहने हैं, मेरा दिमाग मुझे बार बार ये बोलता है कि आई एम नॉट लुकिंग गुड, आई एम शैबी, then my mind will also tell me and I'll get defensive, I'll get in my talks, I'll not try to speak, I'll be feeling less confident. While if I am smartly dressed, I would look more confident, I'd feel important. If I am suited booted, I don't take a broom to clean my office, but if I am in those kind of a clothes, I don't shy away. So if we start practicing and giving more importance to ourselves, if we are well dressed and well groomed, we'll start feeling and thinking that we are bigger, and that is a key to start thinking bigger. We need to realize that our work is very important. अगर हम अपने काम से मोहब्बत नहीं करते हैं and अगर हमें ऐसा लगता है कि हमारा काम important नहीं है, तो we can never grow big and we can never excel in that work. I very well remember जब हम कभी भी किसी कॉन्फ्रेंस वगैरह में जाते हैं, वहां हम स्पीकर्स को सुनते हैं, उसके आने के बाद when I join my office, when I join my work, my productivity increases, क्योंकि वो दिमाग अब हमारे ख्याल में रहते हैं. But all of us have a habit of forgetting. हम भूलते भी बहुत जल्दी हैं. When we forget, we need to remind ourselves that we are good. So we should try to give a prep talk to ourselves. जो मोटिवेशनल बातें हम सुन के आते हैं, उसी को अगर हम रोज आईने के सामने खुद को बोलें, तो हो सकता है कि we get better, we get bigger. And this prep talks will help us to think that we are important, which is going to help us. To be a very good learner, to think big, we need to manage our environment. हम अपने ऑफिस में अगर ये देखते हैं कि देयर आर गॉसिप्स, हम अपने घर में अपने रिश्तेदारों के पास जब बैठते हैं, अगर वहां चुगलियां होती हैं, अगर वहां गॉसिप्स होती हैं जो यूजुअली नेगेटिव होती हैं, जो यूजुअली क्रिटिसिज्म की बातें होती हैं, we should avoid those negative thoughts because these negative thoughts are barrier to our development. इससे किसी का भला नहीं होता है, जो भी होता है वो बुरा ही होता है. इस तरह के मेंटल डाइट जो हमें मिलते हैं, इस तरह का खाना जो नेगेटिव खाना हमारे दिमाग के पास जाता है, वो कभी भी हमें बड़ा सोचने के लिए हेल्प नहीं करता है. सो वी शुड मैनेज आवर एनवायरनमेंट बाय अवॉइडिंग दोस काइंड ऑफ पीपल्स एंड दोस काइंड ऑफ एनवायरनमेंट. वी शुड गो फर्स्ट क्लास. हम जो भी करें, किसी भी सोशल सर्कल को ज्वाइन करें, किसी भी फ्रेंड को ज्वाइन करें, ही शुड बी अ फर्स्ट क्लास पर्सन. अगर हम ऐसा करते हैं तो we will be thinking and behaving and acting like those people. एक और बात, to manage our environment, we should not seek advice from unsuccessful people. अगर सलाह लेनी है तो सक्सेसफुल लोगों से लीजिए, जो सफल लोग हैं उन्हीं से सलाह लीजिए. We will think. अगर कोई बंदा जो खुद सक्सेसफुल नहीं है, क्या वो हमें सक्सेसफुल होने की सलाह दे सकता है? मेरा एक फ्रेंड है जिसने आज तक पिछले 15 से 20 सालों में 25 काम किए. वो हर साल भर में या 6 महीने में काम बदलता है. एंड इज द बिगेस्ट मास्टर इन क्रिटिसाइजिंग एवरीथिंग एंड फाइंडिंग नेगेटिव थिंग्स अबाउट एनीथिंग. अगर मुझे कोई काम करना है तो क्या आपको लगता है मुझे उससे सलाह लेनी चाहिए? डू यू थिंक एन एडवाइस फ्रॉम हिम वुड बी ऑफ हेल्प? द आंसर इज अ बिग नो. वी शुड सीक एडवाइस ओनली फ्रॉम सक्सेसफुल पीपल. Our attitude is very important. If our attitude is right, we can manage everything. I remember of a slide which usually is shown in lots of IQ quizzes and seminars, that if A is 1, B is 2, C is 3 and Z is 26, what makes 100%? Is it intelligence? Is it hard work? Is it luck? Is it money? Or the answer, is it a coincidence that the answer attitude is 100%? So attitude को अगर हम अपना friend बनाएं, and if we carry the right attitude of keeping ourselves motivated, giving importance to others and putting service above self, that could do wonders to our life. Thinking right towards people. We should take initiative to go and meet people. We should take initiative to make friends. We should not be shy to meet people and greet people and ask and tell him about our works. Recently, I was at a meeting in BNI. What I learned from them was grab every opportunity to wish people and meet people and tell them that I do this and take pride in doing that. I learned from that meeting that taking initiative is a very smart idea to interact and win confidence of people. We have to agree that no one is perfect, neither me nor you. We have always a scope of improvement. केवल एक भगवान ही है जो परफेक्ट है, बाकी सभी में कोई ना कोई कमियां हैं. भगवान श्री राम जिन्होंने ईश्वर का रूप नहीं, जिन्होंने मानव रूप में इस पृथ्वी में जन्म लिया था, उनमें भी लोग गलतियां निकाल सकते हैं. Even he was not perfect. So we should accept that no one is perfect. Everyone is different. And we have to develop this attitude that we should not try to revolutionize and reform and try to change people of their thoughts. If we start thinking this, if we condition our mind with these thoughts, we'll be able to think rightly and positively towards people. Stop procrastinating. क्योंकि बड़ी बड़ी बातें, thinking big, thinking positive, thinking this, only thinking is all crap without action. Until and unless those thoughts are put into action, वो भी आज कल या परसों नहीं, काल करे सो आज कर, आज करे सो अब, पल में प्रलय होएगी, बहुरी करेगा कब. These are famous quotes. If we delay things, if we delay our ideas, someone else will already do it. हमने शार्क टैंक पे देखा होगा कि बहुत सारे लोग हैं अपने आइडियाज लेके आते हैं, तब हमें ऐसा लगता है अरे ये आइडिया तो मेरे दिमाग में भी आया था, बट वी प्रोक्रेस्टिनेटेड. If we would have had a habit to act on it, we would surely have been winners. Turning defeat into victory. I remember of the example of Thomas Alva Edison, the one who invented electric bulb. In his biography, it is clearly mentioned, with every failure, with every experiment failing, which totals to around 10,000 times, he noted down that this is not the right way, there is some other way. That was the reason to keep himself motivated and charged. If we start accepting our failures with this thought that this is not the right path, we'll be able to surely lead ourselves to victory and glory. I'll not talk about goals because we all practice and preach goals to everyone in our day-to-day lives. Segregating our goals into short-term, medium-term, and long-term, and writing it down can do wonders and will help us in reaching our goals faster and better. Last but not the least, the learnings, if we want to evolve like a leader, if we want to think like a leader, the 4 ideas that the author gives are: we should trade our minds with the people we want to influence. In simple words, if I want to influence my clients who are doctors, I should start thinking like a doctor. That is when I start thinking like the other person, I'll be able to correlate and connect with those people. When we start trading minds for the people whom we want to affect, we'll surely be able to evolve as a leader. We should start and thinking, are there better and human ways to handle a problem? कभी कभी हम गुस्से में कोई डिसीजन ले लेते हैं, but in the hindsight, when we do the postmortem, we find अच्छा हम इस चीज को और बेटर ऐसे तरीके से कर सकते थे जिससे किसी को भी बुरा नहीं लगता, सबका काम हो जाता. On mistakes, firing an employee is not a solution. If we start thinking and taking a human way, if we help him to get rid of those problems, helping solve those problems, this could help us acquire confidence of those people, and that is how we can evolve as leader. As leader, the author preaches, think progress, believe in progress, and push for progress. Last thought that he gives as leader is एकांतवास. हमने बहुत दिन पहले in 2019 मोदी जी को देखा होगा, इलेक्शन के बाद वो एकांतवास में केदारनाथ में गुफाओं में चले गए थे. हमारे जैन तीर्थंकर सभी अपने मोक्ष से पहले अपने ज्ञान की प्राप्ति के लिए सभी जंगल में एकांत में चले गए थे. It is said when we practice self-isolation, it helps us in bringing the supreme thoughts and ideas, and it leads to the supreme thinking, which is a very big trait of a leader. With this, I end up, and my parting thoughts: our limitations is our only imaginations. Our imaginations is our limiting limitations. If we aim for the sun, we'll surely land in the moon. किसी चीज को अगर हम शिद्दत से चाहने लगे तो पूरी कायनात उसे मिलाने की कोशिश में हमारी मदद करने लगती हैं. These are lines from a famous movie Om Shanti Om, and I find it very relevant when I read this book. Thank you for your patient listening. Over to you, Kanak ji.
Superb. That was phenomenal, Bhanu, and thank you so much from the fraternity for your contribution as a speaker, for the wisdom, for the best-selling books in Beyond Classroom Season 9 series. Thank you so much. This was really, really awesome. And I think it's a very good idea to recap everything. And maybe many of us have read this book, but again, listening it from a person who has actually practiced and given his own examples, I think that was amazing. So very nice. I think we all really liked your session.
Thank you, Kanak ji. The pleasure was all mine.